from historic Bible Stadium in Leander. It's the opening Friday night of the 2023 Texas high school football season. Tonight, a battle between two young and very promising programs as the Pieper Warriors visit the Glenn Grizzlies. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Warriors Sports Network. My name is Paul Alexander. I'm working alongside my partner, Joey Gonzalez. And Joey, we have two teams and two schools with very similar histories.
Paul, it's great to be here on this Friday night. These are two relatively new schools. In fact, this will be the first season the Pieper Warriors have seniors in Leander Tom Glenn High School, opened just 7 years ago, but offensively, these two teams have very contrasting styles.
They do indeed. The Warriors will come out throwing and keep throwing. Pieper head coach Nick Rogers runs a classic Mike Leach air raid attack using 4 wideouts. You won't see a tight end, and you will not see a fullback. The Glenn Grizzlies, on the other hand, will ground it and pound it. Featured running back DJ Duger rushed for over 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns a year ago. He is a blue chip recruit.
Speaking of those Grizzlies, Glenn broke even last season at 5-5, while Pieper finished 2-8 with victories over Bastrop and Cedar Creek. Glenn plays in District 11 5A Division I, while Pieper represents District 13 5A Division II.
Let's talk weather. It's hot.
Yeah, real hot. We were supposed to have a 7 o'clock kickoff, pushed it back to 7:30 according to UIL, and we're now sitting at 99 degrees with 12-mile-per-hour winds blowing from the south.
Tonight's game officials, led by crew chief and referee Ray Johnson. Charles Nations is the umpire. The head linesman is Pete Tao. The line judge, Carl Holdren. Mark Olson is the field judge. The side judge is Jerry Johnson. And Jason Johnson is the back judge. So we have 3 Johnsons on this officiating crew. Pieper game captains, coin toss just moments ago. 7, Jake Strachan. Number 8, Jake South. Number 4, David Huntsman. And number 28, Landon Ashball. A blue chip, really highly regarded linebacker, one of the better linebackers in the district. So we're moments away from getting this wonderful Texas high school football tradition restoked as the first Friday night of the high school football season. And it almost looks like we've got an SEC game going here, LSU versus Auburn, right? But Pieper will get the football to start the game. So good to have football back. And with that, we're playing the great game. It's a good kickoff deep, it's taken, and it'll result in a touchback. And we will see the Pieper offense for the first time in 2023. And we'll have to see who starts at quarterback because the Warriors have 2 very good ones. Jake Strachan, who was the starter a year ago, and Jake South, who is very talented. They're both seniors. South has been slowed up a little bit by injury, but part of the thinking is they can get both Jakes. Remember that movie, The Two Jakes? They can get them both on the field at the same time because Strachan is also a wonderful wide receiver. So they start this drive from the 25-yard line following the touchback. Empty set, 3 receivers to the near side, and that is South, and he'll take off, and he's got the first down out across the 35-yard line. And this is very interesting. In talking with Coach Nick Rogers, he says it's imperative in his offense that the quarterback be a running threat because you don't have a fullback, you don't have another back there, so the quarterback has to be able to run the football, and South did it very effectively on that first down play. Quick set, throw, right side, incomplete. That was a pretty good job defensively for Glenn by the cornerback, Ian Jones. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Paul, you talked about having 2 quarterbacks that can run the football. We already saw it on that very first play. South is a guy who can do it, and it's going to be interesting because this is a team who relies heavily on the passing game.
They do. In fact, they'll throw it probably 85% of the time. Contrast that with the fact that Glenn will run the football almost 90% of the time. So they say that styles make fights in boxing. Well, styles make fights in football as well, and you could not see a more stark contrast than the one we have between these two teams.
You got to play fast. You got to try to find a way to get ahead, and especially if you can pick up those yards quickly through the air, it will be crucial to getting on top first.
Okay, that wound up being a no play. Well, actually, they do flip it. Okay, so after the incompletion, it's 2nd and 10. Play fake. South throws over the middle, got a man wide open and well into Glenn Grizzly territory down at about the 31-yard line.
Number 6, Nolan Doss, wide open. It kind of looked like a breakdown of coverage out there for the Glen Grizzlies, and a 15, 20-yard pickup on that play.
Nolan Doss, who had 24 catches for 126 yards last year, and he's got some quicks. From the gun, the running back is John Hamilton. Now they motion him out to the near side to an empty set. Wide receiver screen out there to Hamilton, and he breaks the tackle, gets inside the 25 down to about the 24-yard line. Accurate throw on the part of Jake South.
We talked about playing quick. This is a team that you're not going to see in the huddle. You see right here, quick plays. Look over to the sideline real quick and get that play and go for the next one.
2nd and 3 following that 7-yard completion. Again, they go empty, trying to spread that defense. South gives it off. Sweep coming near side. Hamilton gets upended, but he also gets the first down at around the 16-yard line.
Hard hit there at the end of the play, but put the ball on the ground, 2nd and short, move the chains forward, and this is already the 3rd first down of this drive.
So a good start, and that was something that Coach Rogers was really emphasizing. He says if his team can get off to a quick start, say a double-digit lead, it may be hard for this Glen offense to come back. Great protection this time. The ball deflected at the line of scrimmage, almost intercepted, but it does hit the ground. So the Warriors catch a little bit of a break there because that ball was up for grabs, but again, the protection was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, good job there, especially with a pass-heavy offense like this. You need to find ways to protect your quarterback and buy them as much time as possible to allow those receivers to spread out this field.
2nd down. 2 receivers to either side of the formation. Give up the middle to the running back John Hamilton, a junior, who was 2nd-team All-District a year ago. He is a tough runner. He's one of 3 Warrior backs expected to see action tonight. Brady Hopper and Samuel Campos being the other 2. Gain of 4. So it's a 3rd and 6 play. 3 receivers to the far side. South pulls it down, has good protection, throws it in the end zone. Wide open receiver. And with that, the Pieper Warriors have their first touchdown of the year, and that was perfectly executed. Excellent protection, accurate throw, and the receiver was wide open.
Wide open, and another breakdown of coverage right there. I mean, 5 yards of openness for the receiver there, and ultimately Pieper gets on the board first, just like we talked about they needed to do.
Exactly the way they wanted to execute this game plan. They thought that scoring early was just imperative. And look at this. This is the kind of thing Pieper will do. They're going for 2. To the near side. South throws into the end zone. How open is he? That was just a textbook drive, capped off by a perfectly executed 2-point conversion. Things could not be off to a better start for the Pieper Warriors.
Jake South, the senior general, I mean, he was controlling this drive, just quickly marching down the field, and then those last 2 plays, the 2-point conversion and the touchdown, wide open receivers in the end zone.
Bodes very, very well. And now we'll get a look at a Warrior defense that really has got some nasty to it. In talking with Coach Rogers, he feels that his defensive line is actually the strength of the defense. And the thing is, they're not really very big, but they're very quick, they're very fast, they read very well, and they're hyper aggressive. So now they'll be protecting an 8-0 lead here with 10:03 remaining in the opening period of the 2023 season for the Pieper Warriors.
Coach Rogers talks about forcing Glen to chase after him. Why not, instead of going up by 7, go up by 8? Now you force it. Glen goes for a touchdown. Now they got to find a way to convert a 2-point to end their drive.
Kicking off for the Warriors. Daniel Miranda. Kick comes to the far side. It's returned back toward the middle. And the return man has some room. Pretty good return out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. There is a flag on the play. Could be an illegal block. Flag lying at the 29-yard line.
Got to go with either a hold or a block in the back, especially with how much separation he had to get those extra 10 yards at the end of that play.
Yeah, and he was coming at a pretty steep angle across the field, which kind of lends itself to illegal blocks.
So they're taking it back, 15-yard line.
Yeah, they'll mark it inside the 15 at the 14. And we'll get a look at a Grizzly offense that averaged almost 25 points a game last year. They keep it on the ground on first down, but the truth is they'll keep it on the ground most of the time.
Yeah, we talked about, what was the percentage? We said about 85% on the ground that this team's going to go. They come out on the first play and already pick up 5-6 yards on their first rush. It's going to be, the defensive line's really got to pick things up.
Officially 5, so it's 2nd and 5, clock running with 9:26 remaining here in the opening period. It's a 3-3-5 defense for the Pieper Warriors. More on that later. Ball's on the ground. There's a fumble. An opportunity for a turnover. The Warriors think they have it, and they do at the 15-yard line. Just a fairy tale start for the Pieper Warriors. Everything going their way right now.
Can't ask for the ball in a better location to start your second drive. It looked like on the handoff to the running back, just the ball kind of slips up, ball goes on the ground, and quickly Pieper recognizes the ball on the ground, dives on it quickly, and now they're inside the red zone to begin drive number 2.
Talk about field position. Start this drive from the 15-yard line. And the quarterback, Jake South, has just been on fire as the Warriors take the opening kickoff, drive it down. South throws a touchdown pass and then throws a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, 7 plays to get down the field. That's a pretty efficient way. And if you want to really get in control right now, a touchdown could really put things in a good location right now.
They drove it 75 yards for a score on the first drive. A much shorter field this time. Motion across the formation to trips on the left side. South now throws a hook pass back over the middle. Receiver is knocked down at about the 2-yard line, but another perfectly executed play. And we're trying to get the number on the receiver there because that was a really nice job. It was Brady Hopper, the sophomore running back. And again, he's one of 3 backs that we'll see tonight. But have you just been amazed at how open all of these Warrior receivers are? There's nobody around them.
I mean, they just keep finding men to get open there. I mean, there's 4 receivers out right now.
1st and goal, running play. Not much going on there.
So there's a flag at the end of that play, possibly holding, is trying to get through the line of scrimmage.
We'll have to see what it is, and we'll get the call from the referee, Ray Johnson. So the violation is by the Warriors. And they'll wind the clock, which is now running with 8:36 remaining in quarter number 1.
The way South's been able to find his receivers wide open, I don't think 2 yards, 5 yards, 20 yards out is going to be a problem with him the way he's starting this game off.
Having more room may actually be an advantage. South, 2-step drop, throws it into the corner of the end zone. It was a flag route there and appeared to be open, but the ball kind of fluttered a little bit and the pass comes up incomplete. But South has really been in rhythm.
Well, right there it looked like the left edge kind of broke down. Right as South was getting ready to throw, Elijah Honeycutt, the defender for Glenn, was right on his shoulder, maybe kind of throw off his throwing path because it probably short through by 5 yards.
Yeah, he wasn't able to put any air under it. Slant pass over the middle, hits the receiver, but the ball has been jarred loose. So down deep in their own territory, this Glenn Grizzly defense is stiffening. And now it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line. Warriors trying to add to their 8-0 lead.
Again, an empty backfield. We'll see how they get the receivers open right here.
And they motion to 3 receivers now on the left side. 3-4 defense for the Grizzlies. a timeout taken by Glenn. I don't know if they had the personnel on the field they wanted, or they saw a formation they were not familiar with.
They had to see something that they're unfamiliar with there, especially you saw the way that the last drive ended for Pieper. You cannot afford to leave any receivers open. Coach Rogers talked about, let's get ahead early, and right there you get a man wide open, you go up by 2 possessions right now.
Okay, so this will be a very interesting third down call. I will say this. The Pieper Warriors offensively have some of the most creative route combinations that you will see in high school football. I mean, they work every square yard of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you say that, because you see the receivers, I mean, they're so spread out from all the way from the left to the right side, and it forces, as you said, those defenders, they have to spread out a lot wider, and that creates those openings that we've seen South already just sling the ball perfectly to his receivers so far.
Big play for a lot of reasons. Keep in mind that Coach Rogers will not hesitate to go for it on 4th down if they get some yardage here. So this is indeed a big play and a big call. 3 receivers to the far side. South looks near side, throws on the slant, complete at the 1-yard line. He didn't score, so it's going to be 4th and goal. But I don't expect to see a field goal kicker here. I do not.
I wouldn't expect so either, especially just keep the ball closer in. Maybe go for a run. We haven't seen any rushes right here. Maybe just try to pound it in from the 1-yard line.
Interesting. Now keep in mind, we say pound. They're not going to have a fullback. They're not going to have a tight end. But in this case, this is a formation we haven't seen, and they put Strachan in at quarterback, and Strachan gets it in from the 1-yard line. Wonderful use of different personnel packages for the Pieper Warriors.
Yeah, I talked about we haven't seen a rush yet, and what do? They bring in Strachan in, and they run it in from the 1-yard line. You talked about, Paul, you talked about using all 4 downs. They use it right there. You get the ball down to the 1-yard line, and then you just punch it in, and now 2-possession lead.
Everything according to the script, and on the road to boot. So they went for 2 and got it after that first touchdown. They'll try it again. And once more, I was not expecting to see so much empty sets, but it's been very effective. But we do have a whistle just as the play got underway.
False start against Pieper. We'll see the handoff of the kicker to the kicker now. So just go for the easy 1 point. But I mean, 14-0 lead with 7:39 to go. That's a really ideal start to start this ball game.
Well, that's a significant play, because now they are going to try the field goal from the 15-yard line, making this a 25-yard attempt. And that's Daniel Miranda with the ball on the left hash mark, sends it on its way. But the Warriors do get 3 points off that turnover and extend their lead to 15-0. We'll take a 1-minute break. We thank you for joining us here on the Warrior Sports Network.
Hey, I got another one for you. And just look at the hole in this line. You could drive a truck right through there. I mean, the refrigerator William Perry could get a first down there. But you know who's going to get their number called for this one? Yeah, that's right, Dr. Ferris. He's like a ligating linebacker. Boom, just like that. And that's why Ferris Orthodontics is going to get the MVP for this one.
Back in Leander, and the Warriors appear to have recovered another fumble, this time on the kickoff. and acquired another turnover. That's another takeaway. And again, they're going to have astounding field position at the Glen Grizzly 35-yard line.
Paul, now this is now the third offensive drive of the ball game for Pieper. Two of them now coming in Glen territory. And we've talked about already the last drive. You couldn't have started the game better. Why not start the game even greater?
So the Warriors mount a 75-yard touchdown drive after taking the opening kickoff. They go for two. They make it. They get a turnover. They get another score. This one capped off by a one-point conversion, and they lead 15-0. First down pass is incomplete, just a little bit behind the intended receiver, who was Logan Durant. South looks right, looks left, pulls it down, will run, and gets back essentially to the line of scrimmage.
Good job there. They attempted the screen pass on that play, and a good job there by South, just attempting to at least get back to the line of scrimmage, preventing the loss. He did lose 1 yard on that play, but the way that play started, he was going back for about 5.
Third down play coming up here. Two receivers to either side of the formation. Now they motion to trips on the near side. It's a jet sweep. It's a gadget play, as it was thrown by the motion man coming across. It's incomplete and well diagnosed by the Glen Grizzly defense.
Well, ever since that opening drive from Pieper, it seems like Leander Glen, they've gotten a little bit more physical and making it more difficult for this Pieper team to get down the field.
So the Warriors are going to have to punt the football for the first time tonight, but they have a chance to pin the Grizzlies deep in their territory. Punt's a short one. It hits at about the 31 and then takes a lateral bounce and will be killed at about the 26-yard line. So this is a Grizzly defense that not only, or offense I should say, that not only hasn't done much, but they turned it over twice.
Yeah, we're halfway through this first quarter, and for just the second time today, we're seeing this Glen offense take the field. We talked about how great they are running the football, and we've only seen, 2 plays from them so far.
Very true.
Definitely a different story than what we saw last year. A 20-0 lead for Glen to start the ball game, and now we got a 15-0 lead to start the day for Pieper.
Running play, first down, and just barely getting back to the line of scrimmage is their bell cow running back, DJ Duger. We mentioned the fact that he ran for over 1,400 yards and scored 14 touchdowns a year ago. Great diagnosis here by the Pieper Warrior defense. But one thing you'll see is this is kind of a throwback slot T offense for the Grizzlies. It's a throwback, but it's very complex. It's very sophisticated. There's so much misdirection, so much motion. There's so much eye candy in front of your eyes as a defender. It's important that you stay disciplined and read your keys. Quickly to the line of scrimmage. It's a counter play coming back to the right side. It's a gain of about 3 out to the 29-yard line.
You talk about that eye candy right there. 3 bodies all near the ball. Who's going to take it? And then finally, there's the handoff going to the right side. It looked like it was going left, and Glen ultimately picks up 4 yards out of it.
So a big 3rd and 6 coming up here. And again, the Warriors with their 3-man offensive line, a 3-3-5 defense. Boy, and they converge this time. I mean, just no movement at all by that big offensive line for the Grizzlies. And they have 3 first-team all-district offensive linemen returning. But they got stuffed there. And Glenn is going to have to punt the football.
Coach Rogers talked about how great this defense is, and we're already seeing it right there. Already a forced turnover, and now 3 yards of offense so far for this Glenn Grizzlies team.
Jason Hopper is the deep return man for the Warriors. Left-footed punter gets it away. And Hopper will take it at his 32-yard line and return it to the far side. Makes 2 guys miss. Advances the ball across the 35 to the 36. 36 really is not bad field position. But frankly, the Warriors have been so spoiled with the field position they've gotten as a result of 2 earlier turnovers.
Paul, you and I were talking earlier, maybe South just needed a little bit more room in that red zone, and this is it right here. You got plenty of room to work with. That opening drive started at the 25, and they ended up going 75 yards on 6 plays.
This one starts from the 36, and again, they go empty. 3 receivers to the near side. South pulls it down, doesn't quite get back to the line of scrimmage, and we do have a flag in the area where you may expect to see offensive holding.
Talked about Glenn getting a little bit more aggressive, maybe trying to bring a little bit more pressure on that offensive line, and as a result, Pieper just trying to recover from it.
But actually the penalty goes the other way, and it's a big one. It will move the ball just into Glenn Grizzly territory, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Warriors.
3rd time today inside of Glenn territory. How are they going to capitalize on it?
Already leading 15-0. Play fake, throw over the middle. It's complete, but the receiver's knee is down. And that appeared to be Nolan Doss on the reception, it appears.
Nolan Dawson just seems like he continues to find wide open areas, and South is going to continue targeting him until they find either a double team or just more pressure.
Gain of 8 there. It's 2nd and 2. They give it on the zone read up the middle, and the Warriors will have the 1st down at about the 37-yard line. Good, tough run by John Hamilton.
This hasn't been a Pieper team who's running the ball a whole lot, but you notice on the 2nd and short, 3rd and shorts, there's a team that's running the football and picking up those small yardage to move the chains.
South play fake, under pressure this time. Now escapes and leaks out. He got a pretty good chance to get a 1st down, and he does before he slides down at about the 27-yard line. Nice heady play by Jake South, who really isn't regarded as being as mobile as the other quarterback, Jake Strachan, but you could never tell it there. That was really good eyes. He used his eyes very well, got into the open space, and gets the 1st down at about the 26 or 7-yard line. Again, receivers open, and this one may result in a touchdown, and it does. That is a 27-yard touchdown pass. And again, that's the guy we were just talking about, Nolan Doss. Had a big season a year ago and is off to a white-hot start tonight.
I was talking about you've got to find a way to double him. You got to apply a little bit more pressure, but Nolan Doss, a really nice cut to his left side, and after that, 15 yards to the end zone, wide open.
So it's 21-0. They'll go for 1 here. Standard PAT is on its way, and it's good. And things could not be going more swimmingly than they are right now for the Pieper Warriors. They lead it 22-0. Late 1st quarter. Back in just a moment, right here on the Warrior Sports Network.
the fun part of being a dad, but I have to speak to you about something that is concerning me.
Concerning you?
Yeah. Heard you and your mother talking about this Arlo fella.
Is set to kick it off for the Warriors, who get on the board again and have a 22-0 lead here, and there's still 3 minutes left in the opening period. Kickoff return to the far side. Pretty good job of convergence and coverage by that Warrior kickoff coverage team, and so Glenn will start this drive from their 26-yard line, trailing 22-0.
Yeah, down 22-0, 4 plays, 64 yards, and a minute and 24 seconds for that Pieper offense. And their third touchdown of the game, going for the PAT, and they're in a really good spot right now.
You know, this is such an innovative program that Coach Rogers runs at Pieper. They do some really, really unorthodox things. For example, they never tackle to the ground in practice. I mean, ever. Not in the spring, ever. And it's something Coach Rogers really believes in. He doesn't want to lose a player to an injury in a practice. And you wonder, well, how can you get good at tackling if you don't tackle in practice? But the truth is, a lot of teams actually are able to do that. And we've seen outstanding tackling tonight by these Warriors.
It's surprising that they don't tackle in practice, because 3 yards is the amount of yards gained by Glenn so far in his first 10 minutes of action so far. It's just really impressive the way that they use their practices to their advantage, and you're seeing really good defense, especially against this running offense.
And we've got a walk-off against the Grizzlies as well, so they will start this drive bottled up inside their 10-yard line. Grizzlies break the huddle, get to the line of scrimmage quickly. Running play off left guard. Running back limp legs one defender and gets out to about the 15-yard line. Clock running, 2:57 left here in quarter number 1.
And what makes this defense so effective, it's not just one guy going in for the tackle. There may be one guy to slow up the running back, but after that, I mean, it is just everybody on that defense coming in to collide. I mean, what, 8 guys around on defense to make the tackle on that play?
Lots of chasing. Lots of hot pursuit. Counterplay coming far side, and that's an example of the kind of tackling we're talking about. I mean, there was contact there and then no movement whatsoever. It looks like that was Leighton Lopez on that big hit.
Lopez using his body to his advantage on that play. No extra yards after contact is what this Pieper team's showing so far.
So 3rd and 4 coming up. And boy, this Warrior defense would like to get yet another stop here in the closing stages of the first quarter.
Real quick, Glenn still looking for their first down in the ball game.
And they don't have it. Kind of a disconnect on the snap. They tried to quick snap it. It didn't really work. And again, a really nice job by this Warrior defense. Now you wonder what will happen here and what the Grizzlies will do. They're down 22-0. They want to stop the bleeding. They don't want it to get worse right now, so they're going to punt the football. And so the Warriors will have yet another opportunity here in quarter number 1.
Yeah, you have to bring out the punt unit right here, especially with how easily Pieper's moving the ball down the field. You got to find a way to pin them back as far as possible.
High snap on the punt. Left footer gets it away. Fair catch called for and made at about the 48-yard line in Warrior territory. And following the punt, change of possession, clock stops, 1:13 left here in the first.
Glenn still right around 10 yards of offense so far in this first quarter. And meanwhile, Pieper already going for over 100 yards here in this first quarter. Beautiful start to 2023.
And such an excellent job of using different personnel packages by the Warriors, really on both sides of the ball. But we've seen some things we didn't necessarily expect, including a lot of empty set, and we have seen on occasion, not a tight end, but kind of a wingback brought into the game, and that's a new wrinkle as well. First down carry, it's 3 yards, but it does get the ball into Glenn Grizzly territory at the 49-yard line.
Nice little toss off to the running back, Brady Hopper, one of 9 sophomores on this Pieper team, and he's able to go for a 4-yard pickup.
On second down. South, play fake, throws the slant over the middle, broken tackle, it's a foot race. Inside the 20, inside the 15, down to about the 12-yard line, and tackled at that point. And that was Jake Strachan, the quarterback, who also is arguably the best receiver on the team. And again, they just used their personnel so well and so creatively.
Yeah, he showed off his speed right there. I mean, a defender nearby, and Strachan puts on the Jets, and he just takes off 20 yards down the field.
First down from just outside the 10-yard line. And so the Warriors are trying to get their 4th touchdown of the first quarter.
Yeah, it's just got to be deflating on that Glenn side. I mean, you just continue to march down the field. Another 50-yard drive right here.
South comes to the near side, now throws it, and maybe ill-advisedly, as that ball could have gotten deflected and intercepted. He did get hit, but it was batted down, and so they lived to fight another down. They caught kind of a break there.
Yeah, probably about the 3rd or 4th screen pass. Only one of them has really been effective, but it allows us defensive backs to get to the quarterback. But, I mean, it allows us receivers to get open, and unfortunately on that play it just didn't work out.
2nd and 10 from officially the 11-yard line. South, again, a batted ball, and then a fight for it between the receiver and the defensive back. Neither one wins. Ball flutters to the ground, and it's 3rd and 10.
Pieper offense going play action on that play. We haven't seen much of the play action so far. And then just at the very end of that pass, ball deflected at the line of scrimmage, and Jake South was trying to find a receiver around the 5-yard line.
3 receivers to the near side. The inside receiver there is Nolan Doss, and he has just been on fire. 3rd and 10 from the pistol this time. South throws it into the end zone. That's wide open. Oh boy, and that's a missed opportunity. He was so wide open on that corner route. And South, I'm sure, wants that one back. He led him just a little too much.
And you know who that was? Nolan Doss once again, the guy who just continues to be wide open. I'm not sure if they're just losing him at the line of scrimmage or he's just showing his speed off. But Paul, as you just said, South wishes he had that one back. That one could have been dropped right in the bucket.
Good clear-up job by the outside 2 receivers in that trip set. They went inside, and that's why Doss was able to get so open, taking it back to the corner. So this time, the Warriors will go from the field goal, and they get it through. So they extend their lead to 25-0 with 14 seconds left here in quarter number 1, so we'll keep it right here. So maybe a little bit of disappointment that they didn't get 7 or 8 points out of that, because the opportunity was there on that 3rd down play. Nevertheless, they score every time they touch the football.
Well, especially to start off the season, I don't think anybody goes into the start of the season thinking we're going to be up 25-0 ending the first quarter. Coach Rogers has to be pleased with the way this game has started. But, I mean, we keep talking about this offense, but we haven't even mentioned the defense that much, allowing, what, less than 15 yards on 3 drives from this Glenn Grizzlies team.
And this is one of the better rushing football teams in Class 5A. Talking about the Glenn Grizzlies. They're really, really good.
Yeah, we're talking about the eye candy that this team shows. They show all these different handoffs, and Pieper just locking them down right now.
Well, and now, frankly, when you get up 25-0 early, now you can ignore some of that eye candy. You know, now you can really, really take it to the offense, and that misdirection tends to be a little less effective when you're down 25-0. Kickoff taken on the far side and returned back to the middle across the 30. Returner's got some room here. Let's see if they can get him out of bounds at least. A big return, and he is finally knocked out of bounds at about the 35, 34-yard line. Probably the first real mental error of the night for the Warriors.
Yeah, I would say so, but also the best part of this entire game plan that Glenn has showed in this ball game has been special teams, being able to return the football. But outside of that, Piper's defense has been great. The Piper offense has been great. So I'm sure putting them at the 35-yard line, Piper's not super concerned at the moment, especially with this lead.
Well, I can tell you that the Warriors spend a lot of time, more time than most, working on special teams and kick coverage in particular. So probably not exactly what they were looking for there, as they would say, not their standard. But they catch a break because there is a penalty against the Grizzlies. So the return isn't quite as effective as it moves it back to the Piper 47-yard line. This will be the last play of the first quarter. Grizzlies quickly to the line of scrimmage. Running play, power play coming near side, and a wonderful play made there. Just a really nice job by well, see if we can get the number there. But that was an outstanding defensive play, and I apologize for not being able to spot the number immediately, but a very nice job.
Trying to go for a little sweep right there, and just a great job of the Piper defense to get to the edge, meet the running back at the line of scrimmage, and once again, no gain on that play.
First quarter in the books. Warriors lead it 25-0. Back with quarter number 2 in just a moment right here on the Warriors Sports Network.
Hey, I got another one for you. And just look at the hole in this line. You could drive a truck right through there. I mean, the refrigerator William Perry could get a first down there. But you know who's going to get their number called for this one? Yeah, that's right, Dr. Ferris. He's like a ligating linebacker. Boom, just like that. And that's why Ferris Orthodontics is going to get the MVP for this one.
Got the tickets?
Yep, I got them right here. I'll see you at 9.
Call GVTC today.
Look at this as we begin quarter number 2, and it starts pretty much like quarter number 1 did. Look at this. Anything that could possibly go wrong for Glenn has gone wrong.
Yeah, fumble recovery there by number 24, Ben Chapman. And why not the sophomore taking it all the way back, over 50 yards on the fumble recovery. And just like that, 31-0. And everything that could go wrong for Glenn has here in these first 2 quarters.
So they score 12 seconds deep in the second quarter. So naturally, they'll go for 1 here. You know, you really don't expect a team like Glenn to turn the ball over to this extent. I mean, this has been weird in some respects, but also it's because Pieper has been so alert and so opportunistic, and they have taken advantage of everything they've gotten.
And as a coach for Pieper, you couldn't ask for anything more for your guys to be so alert. They're so ready to come out of the gate, and they've shown it right here. 3 fumble recoveries, and all ending up in 7 points on the board.
Coming on for the PAT this time is Logan Lopez. By the way, a year ago, the Warriors made every single one of their PATs. And this one is good as well, so that extends the lead to 32-0, 12 seconds deep in the second quarter.
Glenn's got to find a way to get some offense going. They got to find a way to pick up yardage. And as much as they love to run the ball, maybe you got to change it up, go through the air a little bit, because as of right now, you really haven't got anything going on the ground.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, they really don't rely on their passing game. And if you start throwing it a lot right now, it may get way worse before it gets better. Now, they do have big play potential, but it's mostly because of their ground game. We told you about their running back, DJ Duger. He can take it to the house on any play, and that's kind of the way their offense works when they're not turning the ball over. You know, you can stop them on first down, you can have a 2-yard gain on second down, and some guy takes it 75 on third down. So you still have to remain very alert, but it's a little easier when you're playing with house money at 32-0.
That's what's so dangerous about this Glenn team. If you let Duggar get hot, who knows how this game could turn around with the way this guy's able to break tackles and get through that line of scrimmage.
Warriors set to kick it off. This is Daniel Miranda. And he knocks it down, wow, halfway through the end zone, results in a touchback. And Glenn is probably relieved to have field position at their 25 this time.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen them inside the 25? We've seen his drive start at the 10-yard line, 15. I mean, the best drive that they had was their previous drive where they started at Pieper's 46-yard line, and we all know how that play ended up with a fumble recovery that was taken to the house.
Just a solid job by this Warrior defense. That's pitching a shutout so far. From the 25, Grizzlies to the line of scrimmage. Power toss far side. Ball's in the air again. This is going to be returned for a touchdown. Another turnover, another touchdown. I'm not sure I've ever, Joey, seen anything like this.
I'm trying to think right now. 4th turnover of the ball game, and they have all come in the first half. And who recovers that one? Number 28, Landon Ashpal. The ball just flies up into the air. A beautiful job by the defense to put the helmet into the hands of the running back, and the ball just flies up in the air. Ashpal grabs the ball, and he's going to glide on into the end zone, and just like that, almost 40 points scored in the first half, and we still have 11:37 to go in this first half.
Ashpal had 39 tackles a year ago. He's also just an outstanding wrestler. A lot of 2-sport and 3-sport stars on this football team.
And I'm glad you mentioned the 3-sport athlete. Ashpal, wrestling, track, and football, shot put in track as well.
You see that a lot. Also a lot of outstanding baseball players. And of course, we also have the Warriors volleyball season underway. And they've got a lot of amazing athletes that we'll talk about as well. Right now, we're going to take a 1-minute break with the Warriors leading 39-0 right here on the Warriors Sports Network.
Not the fun part of being a dad, but I have to speak to you about something that is concerning me.
Concerning you?
Yeah. Heard you and your mother talking about this Arlo fella, and
Arlo?
I wasn't eavesdropping. He's always watching you. His videos are secure. This guy sounds like a creep.
It's not.
Your privacy is very important to me, and I think you need to make better decisions when it comes to
We're back just moments after. Landon Ashpal corralled an errant fumble up in the air, took it to the house, and with that, following the PAT, the Warriors extend their lead to 39-0, a degree of domination here that nobody could have anticipated. This will be returned from the goal line. And once again, they're effective on the return when they put the ball on the ground, and they're going to have pretty good field position here as that's returned out across the 45-yard line to the 47.
About a 40-yard return right there. Caught it inside, probably about the 7-yard line, takes it all the way to around the 47. Real nice return once again. And as I mentioned earlier, it's the special teams that have continued to move the ball for this Glenn offense.
And that will be a point of emphasis for the Warriors next week. I'm talking about kickoff coverage in particular. So the Grizz start this drive from their 47-yard line, trailing 39-0, and still with 11:22 left in the first half. Counterplay, near side. Good shoestring tackle. That is a really nice job. Is that Caden Glass on the stop there, I believe?
Yeah, the defensive back, Caden Glass, the junior, just wrapping up at the ankles. Beautiful tackle right there, and only a gain of a yard on the rush.
2nd and 9 as we move under 11 minutes remaining here in quarter number 2. Running play off left guard, and that is their bell cow running back. That's DJ Duger on the carry, but for pretty modest yardage.
Another 1-2 yard pickup here for Glenn. DJ Duger just trying to keep those feet moving. We talked about this is a guy 1,500 yards just a year ago, and I think he's just trying to find those legs and just find that one explosive play to maybe kickstart some life in his Glenn team.
3rd and 7 here. Play fake, they'll throw it, deep ball, and it's off the fingertips of the open receiver. You know, we talk about the fact they don't throw the ball very much, but that was really well designed, and they just failed to make the connection because they did have the open receiver.
That's what I'm thinking. You just throw in a little bit more play action in there. Completely caught this Pieper defense off guard. Had a receiver open, just a little bit overthrown right there, but especially going into the second half, will we see these more passes or will they continue to keep the ball on the ground?
But the practical result is that the Warriors are going to get the football right back, leading 39-0. Well, pretty good pressure, but they get the punt away. It hits at about the 25, rolls inside the 20, down, it will be killed down around the 15.
Got a nice Grizzly bounce there, probably about 10 yards after the ball hit the turf, and probably one of the furthest back we've seen this Pieper team work. How will they play inside of their own 20-yard line? But as South has shown in this ball game, doesn't matter where he is on the field.
Very true. They've made such good use of those two great quarterbacks, and they're very similar in some respects, about the same size, big arms. It could be that Stratton's a little more mobile and a little more of a swashbuckler, but these two Jakes, Jake Stratton and Jake South, give the Warriors one of the best 1-2 quarterback punches really in the state. And that's Stratton on first down, who keeps on the far side and maybe gets a yard. Remember on that second touchdown drive, they put Stratton in the game kind of unexpectedly, and he makes the play for the touchdown. So these guys are so versatile.
Yeah, it's so dangerous to see those two quarterback locker rooms, and because you never know what they're going to do, and you just kind of throw them in occasionally, and you especially throw off your defense.
2nd and just a little more than 9. Running play coming near side, and that's John Hamilton. A really good pursuit by the Grizzly defense. And that'll set up a 3rd and long.
John Hamilton, a little bit of hesitation there on the outside edge. Looked like he was trying to break that defender on him. Ultimately, keeps the ball at the line of scrimmage, but that's one thing that this Pieper team has done. They haven't allowed negative yardage on really any of their drives.
Quarterback under pressure, and that's Stratton doing what he does, extending the play. Now he throws deep back over the middle, looking for a receiver, and the play is not made. Pass just incomplete.
That was Jones who had a hand on it for Glenn. He nearly came up with the interception, but when his body hit the ground, ball pops out, and kind of catching a break there for Pieper. Now they're, first, second, 3 and out of the ball game.
Yeah, that's really been unusual. They have taken advantage of so many opportunities. That was really kind of the first ragged possession of the night for the offense. Going to have to punt it away with the punter standing back at his goal line. Gets it away. It's a low kick. It hits at about the 40-yard line and now takes a little bit of a Glenn bounce back to about the Warriors 36. And the clock stops on the change of possession with 8.5 minutes left before halftime.
Yeah, another good field positioning right here for Glenn. And you got to think as the time starts to tick closer to the end of the second half, they need to find a way to capitalize, at least put 3 points on the board. You can't afford to go into the locker room with 0 points at halftime.
Well, we'll see what they do offensively. You mentioned that really nicely designed play-action pass they had on the previous possession, where the pass was just a little bit overthrown, but the receiver was really wide open. And we got a whistle and a flag. There was motion before the snap, and that's a no play.
Looks like a little jump off side from this Pieper team. We'll see which way they take it.
Yeah, it's a procedure penalty against Glenn as we see the call from the referee, Ray Johnson.
That's what's really killed this Glenn team. If it hasn't been those turnovers, it's just the minor mental mistakes right there. Now you're going 5 yards backwards on drives where you just haven't been able to move the ball forward. You're in really good field positioning right now. We'll see how they respond to that false start to begin the drive.
Takes it back to the 41-yard line where it's 1st and 15. Power running sweep coming near side. Ball carrier takes a huge hit.
Number 16, DeMarcus Davis on that play, the sophomore, gaining a couple yards on that play, and that's really all Glenn can ask for right now. Just move the ball forward, pick up those small yardages.
And that was small yardage in that situation. It was 1st and 15. He got 3. Line of scrimmage is the Warrior 38-yard line. Running play off right guard. And that's Duger, and he doesn't get much. And again, watch the way that defense just collapses on everything. They get so many hats to the ball, which you have to do with a back the caliber of Duger.
Yeah, you can tell they've done their research on him. They know Duger's a guy to watch out for, so as soon as Duger gets a hand on that ball, that defense is collapsing on him. And that's really why he can't get his wheels going in this ball game.
He got 2, so it's 3rd and 10. 7:18 left before halftime. Misdirection. Finally, the ball kind of comes up the middle. And it's a nicely designed play, but they needed 10 yards, and they didn't come close to getting it. 4th down.
Paul, it's 4th down, but with the way this ball game's going, you got to go for it right now. Yeah.
No question. But it's still going to be 4th and almost 3, officially 2.
Especially the rushing offense, after probably about 3 yards of play, it's gonna be a tight one going for here on 4th down.
Let's check the play call. Big offensive line, and they try to hide those backs behind them. This is going to be close, but not that close. I don't think he got it. Once again, the interior of that Warrior defense has just been rock-ribbed. And they turn it over on downs.
Talk about how good this defense is. And if you wanted to know, this Pieper team has completely locked down the line of scrimmage. They are winning every single possession. And right there, they do it once again. You needed 2 yards if you're Glenn, and I can't even say they gained a yard on that play.
This is what they got to be thinking right now. When I say they, I mean Pieper. They have this large lead in large part because of turnovers. The only way that Glenn can get back into this game is if Pieper turns the ball over. So there's a real emphasis on not doing that. Running play straight up the gut on 1st down. And on the carry, that's Samuel Campos, one of 3 fine running backs in that stable for the Warriors.
Well, Glenn was prepared for a pass on that play. Why not open up your drive with a run play and picking up 4 yards to begin the drive?
And spending that clock is not a bad idea either with a 39-0 lead. South looks both directions, excellent protection, now throws the drag across the middle. So well done, and that results in a 1st down, and you know who that is. That's Mr. Dawson, who's a little slow getting up. Hope he's okay. He has had such a wonderful 1st half.
Yeah, what a night Dawson's had to begin this ball game. And one thing I noticed about South, I mean, he looks at all parts of the field looking deep, but instead, why not just dump it off a nice little 5-10 yard slant pass and let Doss do the work and pick up those extra yardages.
Well, because he was so well protected, he could look both ways, and that gave Doss time to come across on that shallow drag, so really nicely executed.
You talk about the protection. We really haven't talked about the protection, but it's just because South has had so much time. I mean, he just looks so calm in the pocket, and he's able to find those receivers all over the field.
And a couple of times when he has been pressured, he stayed cool, pulled the ball down, and run effectively.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, even when he gets pressured, as you just mentioned, he's not just throwing the ball up there. He's aware. I mean, throws the ball low, making sure that he's not just tossing it up there for defensive backs to just get a hand on the ball.
Doss being attended to by the Warrior training staff, and now with every stride, he looks a little better. He was gimping there for a second, but now his stride looks pretty smooth, as he will lead the ball game for at least a play. That completion netted a first down into Grizzly territory at the 49. Two receivers to either side. South with time, throws over the middle, complete to Strachan. So the two Jakes hook up for the completion. This one going to be very close to the first down, and in fact they are moving the chains. First down, Warriors.
Quarterback to quarterback connection right there. 10-yard pickup on that play. Move the chains once again within 40 yards of another touchdown.
From the 39, first down, running play. Oh, wow, that is some tough inside running. And do we have a late flag? I think we do.
I'd say number 32.
That was Brady Hopper on the carry, and he is a tough guy. Now we'll see what the flag's all about.
And Hopper, I mean, he's locked up 2 yards after the rush, keeps the wheels moving, picks up an additional 3-4 yards after contact. And those were huge plays, especially as we start to get down to the nitty-gritty part of district schedule.
So the Warriors leading by a score of 39-0. We hope you'll stick around for our halftime presentation. Brought to you by Ferris Orthodontics, one of our very fine sponsors and advertisers, and they support Warriors athletics to the nth degree. Wheel route intended for the running back and overthrown, but that was a nicely designed play. They just couldn't quite make connection, as once again that was the runner Brady Hopper coming out of the backfield, and South just missed it.
Probably one of the first times we've kind of seen an overthrow by South. Hopper pretty wide open on that play, just throws it a little too far over the head, but still second and 15, and second and 17, and he's still got plenty of time in this game.
South with time again, over the middle. Oh, what a remarkable catch that is. That was just a tremendous catch on the back shoulder. Watch him reach behind the defender, and I'm talking about that fine effort by the receiver Nathan Martinez, who was a stud a year ago with 25 catches for 483 yards and 4 TDs. You will seldom see a better and more artful catch than that one, and that carries all the way down to the 15-yard line. Running play. Once again, that's Hopper. And once again, he shows some real lower body strength. Watch him move that pile.
Hopper doing his best. I mean, those yards after contact are so crucial. He gets touched at that line of scrimmage and just keeps the pile moving forward on a play that Glenn could have stopped him for 2 yards. He picks up 5 on that play.
I think officially 6, but a good power run on first down. South, again, plenty of time, throws the corner route, back of the end zone. Did he get his feet down? Waiting for the call, he did. That's another Warrior touchdown. And we talk about creative route combinations. Okay, inside guy to the pylon, back behind him, and this time the throw was perfect.
A beautiful rainbow pass into the back corner of the end zone. And who was it once again? I'll give you a guess. It's Nolan Doss once again in the back of the end zone for a touchdown.
Just moments after he had limped off the field with an apparent leg injury, but it got better. Wow-wee is all I can say. Is how does this grab you? As they extend the lead to 46-0, still 4 minutes left in the half. Back in 1 minute. We thank you for joining us right here on the Warrior Sports Network. Back in Leander, and a seismic eruption by these Pieper Warriors. They lead the Glen Grizzlies 46-0. So many stars tonight for the Warriors, but none has shined brighter in the first half than the quarterback, Jake South, who has been rock solid.
Jake South, Mr. Cool. I mean, he's just in that pocket. He looks so confident, finding everybody on the field. He's just a general. I mean, that's the best way I can describe him so far in this first half.
And he took control from the jump here tonight, engineering a 75-yard touchdown drive after the Warriors had taken the opening kickoff, and then they got the two-point conversion as well. And I think psychologically that really damaged Glenn at that point, and they made some uncharacteristic mental mistakes, turned the ball over time after time, very poor ball security, fumbles that you don't expect, and a really opportunistic effort by this Warrior defense.
What a way to send a message and go with 8 points to start off the 2023 season. And Paul, you're probably right. I mean, that's got to be mentally draining for that Glenn defense.
Three deep returners for the Grizzlies. Here's the kickoff, relatively short, and will go out of bounds at the 22-yard line. So we'll see how the Grizzlies elect to handle this.
Pieper just kind of trying to chip it in there around the 25-yard line. Ball rolls out of bounds for the flag.
So it's a procedure penalty, and the ball would be spotted at the 35-yard line.
35 probably can't be too bad, especially with some of these drives. I mean, they're starting off at about the 45, 50-yard line. Why not put it around the 35?
And just, yeah. At least they didn't give up a big return.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Again, can you hear that? We heard that up here in the press box. I mean, three defenders just converge and lay down the law. I mean, no gain, 2nd and 10.
That's exactly what I was going to say. No gain, and it's just this rushing offense cannot seem to get past this line of scrimmage, and it's just suffocating, and it's been like that all night long.
No offense is designed to come back from 46-0, but this one really isn't because it's so ground-oriented. Effective running play there, though, as they net probably the first down at the 45-yard line. And it will because they spot it at the 46, so that'll move the chains.
And that's the best run we've seen in the ballgame. I don't think we've seen a 10-yard rush in this ballgame right there. Finally, maybe that gives Glenn a little bit of life, knowing that they can run the ball further than the usual 2 or 3 yards and getting 10 yards on that play, and there's a first down at 45.
3:17 before the All Things Halftime presentation, brought to you by Ferris Orthodontics, and we appreciate their support. Among other things, we'll be hearing this wonderful Warrior band under the direction of Evan Berry.
incomplete pass on that last play, and once again, it was number 28, Landon Ashpal, just getting to the edge, forcing the pressure on the quarterback, and Glenn, no passing yards in this ball game.
As in 0. Little misdirection there as they run the ball inside. But again, the Warrior defense doing such a good job of remaining disciplined and reading their keys and ignoring all that misdirection that's crossing their face.
That can be hard. I mean, there's 3 backs back there. You got the quarterback, and that's exactly what Glenn's trying to do, and everybody stays on their man and knows what to do.
Here's a 3rd and 7 running play, far side. Duger makes the first man miss, but then watch all of these gold helmets. And again, if you're into these kind of things, if you're into football tradition and uniforms and stuff like that, if you're just looking at the threads, this looks like LSU against Auburn.
Yeah, coming out here today, they got the LSU gold pants, the purple trim along the side, and then the Auburn homes with the navy blue and the orange trim along the side. And probably got a little SEC football going on today.
Nothing wrong with that. And what are you going to do? You're trailing 46-0, so I know that some of the Glenn fans are not happy they're going to punt, but I don't see any reason not to punt.
Yeah, just trying to pin them deep. I mean, the punts have gone far all game long.
Yep. J.J. Ortiz, the left footer, gets the punt away. And it's rolling around at about the 42-yard line. And the clock will stop now with 1:38 left before halftime.
As soon as I said the punts have been going far all game long, about a 15-yard punt on that play. Sets up Pieper around the 43-yard line, their own 43. And this is a team who's marched down the field way quicker than 1:38, which is left on the clock right now.
It'll be interesting to see how aggressive they get on this possession. And they're going to have South and Strachan in the game at the same time. Strachan is the middle receiver among the triplets to the near side. South throws far side. Pass is complete. Stays in bounds, so the clock continues to run.
What a 9-yard gain on that play, and once again, Jake South just plants his feet, looks around, and throws a nice little teardropper there, and picks up 8 yards.
I think that was Evan Drake on the reception. South comes to the near side, gets it off to Strachan. Now watch him hit the accelerator. He got some wheels. Nice job as the completion carries down to the 37-yard line.
There's a nice little pitch there. The connection between the Jakes kind of looked like a middle infielder trying to turn a double play on that ball.
Good image. I like that. Good analogy. Okay, and because we got some rules changes here in high school and college football this year, but because we're inside 2 minutes left in either half, the clock does stop briefly while they move the change, but then there's a timeout on the field anyway.
Yeah, 1:07 to go. Piper's in a really ideal spot right here. You got the ball placed at the 37-yard line. You got South, who's been throwing the ball beautifully, and I can imagine Pieper will use all the time here and does not even consider giving the ball back to Glenn to end this half.
Although it looks like they're still getting aggressive too, and they do still have 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, I just think this is, you cannot have asked for a better start. Last year, 2 wins for this Pieper team, and they come in here today and they look like a powerhouse of 5A football.
There are a lot of people around the state right now looking at this score and going, what? South comes to the near side, right-handed, with a good throw and another touchdown pass. And let me see, might that be Nolan Doss?
It's Nolan Doss once again. We just cannot stop calling his name. He's wide open once again, and there's another just floater. Drops it right in the breadbasket, and Nolan Doss walks on in.
And it was a remarkable pass in that you had a right-handed quarterback, you know, and he was moving to his left side and still threw that one accurately and with touch. Just a wonderful throw. It's 52-0, and here in a second it may be 53-0. There's Miranda on the kick. He knocks it through. We'll keep it right here.
Yeah, it's going to be 53-0. You mentioned last year, not a single missed PAT attempt. Just right through the uprights right there, 53-0. first half with 58 seconds to go. Paul, what a great start here for the Warriors.
You know, coaches have to have something to gripe about. You know, it's always said that the best thing you can do, the best situation a coach can be in, is have your team winning, but still doing enough things you can get on about, you know, to keep them motivated and not let them get complacent. I think really the only thing that the Warriors have not done at an exceptional level here in the first half is cover kickoffs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you didn't cover it right there, I mean, because the defense has been great. You can't get anything going on the ground if you're Glenn. The offense has just been storming down the field. So really, it's the kick returns that they've allowed, that Piper's allowed. But outside of that, there's really nothing that you can really perfect out of this Piper team.
Stick around for our upcoming halftime show, brought to you by Ferris Orthodontics.
A low kick there, and you can tell Piper's made the adjustment now. They don't want to kick the ball deep and force those return men to run the ball down the field. So instead just kind of chips it in there to the 30-yard line, forces Glenn to call for the fair catch. And now Piper's going to go line up on the line of scrimmage at 30.
You know, this is a really talented, athletic Grizzly team. I mean, we were down the field during pregame warm-ups, and you're looking at some of these guys and going, this looks like a college team, you know? So they've got a lot of talent, but how difficult is it going to be for them to come back psychologically after this disaster of a first half?
Well, I just think mentally they were challenged from the start of the game with those four. You start off with a turnover on your first drive. You're combined for 4 turnovers now, and if you couldn't fight through those mental challenges, you're really going to have to dig deep now, finding yourself down by over 50 points with only 24 minutes to go.
I don't know that anybody saw this coming. I will say this. I really got the feeling in being around the Warrior team and coaching staff this week that they fully expected to win this game. But I'm not sure anybody could have expected this.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Rogers, I mean, he seemed really confident today in the performance that his team can put on the field, and I think that his players have lived up to that image that Coach Rogers presented in the locker room entering this week, and they've put it together perfectly.
This is a Warriors team that was 2-8 a year ago, but again, remember, they didn't have any seniors on the team, but even then, you could see the athletic potential. And they're so well coached in so many areas. I look at some of the advanced techniques employed by their defensive backs. I mean, they really know what they're doing, and it's the result of meticulous coaching.
Yeah, that and the guys playing together, these seniors now, they've played with each other a couple years now, and they know how one another works. They know how the guy to the left and the right of them work, and they know especially how their head coach operates.
We have reached the end of an improbable first half. Unbelievable, with the Pieper Warriors leading the Glen Grizzlies 53-0. Man, go fan yourself, Warriors fans, because you got one hot team right now. Back in just a moment with the Ferris Orthodontics halftime show right here on the Warriors Sports Network.
Not the fun part of being a dad, but I have to speak to you about something that is concerning me.
Concerning you?
Yeah. Heard you and your mother talking about this Arlo fella, and
Arlo?
I wasn't eavesdropping. He's always watching you. His videos are secure. This guy sounds like a creep.
It's not.
Your privacy is very important to me, and I think you need to make better decisions when it comes to boys. And this Arlo is not a boy that I think you should be dating.
You're dating someone?
Yeah, Arlo. I heard you guys talking about him.
Arlo.
Yeah.
Dad, Arlo's the name of the new security cameras that we got from our service provider. We were talking about how great they are and how safe they make me feel. Arlo's not a boy.
Well, that's a boy's name.
Oh, boy.
Not a boy. Apparently, we just learned that it's a camera named after a boy. Why don't you name it Peter?
Back at halftime, wow, with the Pieper Warriors leading the Glen Grizzlies 53-0 on the road here at historic Bible Stadium here in Leander. Why is it historic? This is one of the darndest stories I've ever heard. This stadium was built in Odessa in 1948. Okay, it was Mojo Stadium. And then the Leander School District bought it sometime in the 1980s and transported it with 57 semis, 262 miles to Leander. That's just amazing. That's legendary stuff.
Paul, this is a beautiful stadium. I mean, massive bleachers. The only time I've ever seen something transported largely is a tiny house. And that's the biggest thing I've ever seen transported. And outside of that, I can't even imagine moving half of this stadium on the road, not to mention the whole entire stadium.
Let's do this as we continue this halftime show brought to you by Ferris Orthodontics. You talk about a strong performance. How about this strong sound coming from the Pieper Warriors band under the direction of Evan Berry? Let's catch some.
This week's cheerleader of the week is Rylan After cheerleading under the direction of Amy Herrick, who is assistant coach Kelly Hogan. Joining us from San Antonio, Texas, please welcome the Pieper High School Band of Warriors. The Band of Warriors 2023 show is entitled Checkmate, and features the music of Edward Albert, as well as selections by James Horton from the Beautiful Mind and by some Tape Band. Inspired by the next chapter in the journey of our band, This show depicts the kings and queens of the chessboard engaged in a battle. You can enjoy the depiction of the chess match for the winner to begin. Pieper High School halftime is proud to welcome drum majors Jonathan Dooley, Aaron De La Garza, Eleni Perez, Avery Trent, and the Pieper High School Band of Warriors. The Pieper Band of Warriors is under the direction of band director Evan Berry and assistant directors Alan Connor, Scott Lowe. The color guard is under the direction of John O'Reilly. Pieper Ranch Middle School directors are Dane Doreen, Kendall Tucker, Lane Hart.
Hey, bro. You gonna go meet Brittany? Oh, no. I've been going all over the place, bro. I'll bring Brittany to you, bro. He got you that. He's nice, Brittany.
The band section of the week is the clarinets. The band lower-level corporate sponsors. The Pieper Band would also like to thank our most supportive administration.
Because you like to be reminded
Let's go,
that Pieper
Warriors.
is leading 53-0. It's the truth. So we've got some additional halftime festivities. We invite you to stick around. We're about 15 minutes away from the second half kickoff. Coming up in just a few minutes, we will have an interview with the outstanding, wonderful, I mean really motivated head of the booster organization for the Warriors, Mr. J.J. Huntsman, who does such a tremendous job. Yeah, we're going to talk some football, but we're going to talk some other stuff as well, because there are a lot of things going on that are just stellar at Pieper High School. Back in just a moment, right here on the Warriors Sports Network.
Tonight's broadcast on Warriors Network is brought to you by Stevens Roofing and Remodeling, Ferris Orthodontics, GVTC, and Comal Independent School District.
Oh, man, here's a broken play. I don't think any of these guys are north to south runners. I mean, look at this one here. Just bounced outside with no blockers ahead of him. But you know, you can always call a Hail Mary, and the guy that you want as your QB is Dr. Ferris. I mean, you give Dr. Ferris the ball, and boom, good things happen. Yep, that's Ferris Orthodontics again with that really nice new smile.
So, where are we eating?
With GVTC's blazing fast fiber speeds,
3.5 stars, not a chance we try anything under 4.
you might feel like other things in life are taking a little longer than before.
Ooh, what sounds better, La Fiesta or Dumpling Palace?
Ooh, Dumpling Palace.
Ew, gross.
We may not be able to speed up your dinner decisions, but we can provide fast and consistent premium Wi-Fi to search all the available options. Enjoy the GVTC difference, and please be patient with things that may have seemed to...
Wait, what are we gonna watch?
Slow down a bit. GVTC, connecting you.
Oh, man, here's a broken play. I don't think any of these guys are north to south runners. I mean, look at this one here. Just bounced outside with no blockers ahead of him. But you know, you can always call a Hail Mary, and the guy that you want as your QB is Dr. Ferris. I mean, you give Dr. Ferris the ball, and boom, good things happen. Yep, that's Ferris Orthodontics again with that really nice new smile.
So, where are we eating?
With GVTC's blazing fast fiber speeds,
3.5 stars, not a chance we try anything under 4.
you might feel like other things in life are taking a little longer than before.
Ooh, what sounds better, La Fiesta or Dumpling Palace?
Ooh, Dumpling Palace.
Ew, gross.
We may not be able to speed up your dinner decisions, but we can provide fast and consistent premium Wi-Fi to search all the available options. Enjoy the GVTC difference, and please be patient with things that may have seemed to
Wait. What are we gonna watch?
slow down a bit. GVTC, connecting you.
Oh man, here's a broken play. I don't think any of these guys are north to south runners. I mean, look at this one here. Just bounced outside with no blockers ahead of him. But you know, you can always call a Hail Mary, and the guy that you want as your QB is Dr. Ferris. I mean, you give Dr. Ferris the ball, and boom, good things happen. Yep, that's Ferris Orthodontics again with that really nice new smile.
Hey, buddy, got your glove?
Yep, I got it right here. You're coming, right?
Of course. I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Awesome.
Don't forget the you-know-whats.
Whether you're gearing up for a big project or a big game, GVTC has everything you need to stay connected.
What do you think?
They are gonna love these.
From smart security and high-speed internet to TV and phone, GVTC provides cutting-edge technology for your home and business.
Thank you.
You made it. Hey, what is it? Whoa, jerseys!
With deep roots in the community, we're committed to building a stronger, better, connected future for the areas we serve. Our GVTC Foundation's charitable support and industry-leading products help you stay connected to what matters most. GVTC, connecting you.
Not the fun part of being a dad, but I have to speak to you about something that is concerning me.
Concerning you?
Yeah. Heard you and your mother talking about this Arlo fella, and
Arlo?
I wasn't eavesdropping. He's always watching you. His videos are secure. This guy sounds like a creep.
It's not.
Your privacy is very important to me, and I think you need to make better decisions when it comes to boys. And this Arlo is not a boy that I think you should be dating.
You're dating someone?
Yeah, Arlo. I heard you guys talking about him.
Arlo.
Yeah.
Dad, Arlo's the name of the new security cameras that we got from our service provider. We were talking about how great they are and how safe they make me feel. Arlo's not a boy.
Well, that's a boy's name.
Oh, boy.
Ah, not a boy. Apparently, we just learned that it's a camera. Named after a boy. Why don't you name it Pieper?
We're back at halftime following a wonderful performance by the Warriors band under the direction of Evan Berry. Everybody on the Warriors side having fun tonight, because you know what? Being up 53-0 at halftime is fun. You can look it up. And you talk about a labor of love. When you're the president of the Booster Club at Pieper High School, man, you better be bringing the energy. And this guy is so much fun to be around, and we're so delighted he's joined us up in the booth. I'm talking about the president of the Booster Club, Mr. J.J. Huntsman, and he's got it all going because he's working on the chain gang tonight. He's enjoying this victory tonight. He's got lots of good things to say about everything involving Warriors athletics. And, oh, yeah, his son, defensive end David Huntsman, is having a heck of a game. He is a really good player. Welcome.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, so we want to be, and I know you feel this way, supportive of all things Warriors, athletically, everything. You know, and we're so happy to get a chance to talk about this here on the Ferris Orthodontics halftime show. But did you have to get talked into this a little bit? I mean, that is very time consuming. You got to bring a lot of effort to that job.
Yeah, you know, it's a fun story. I like to tell. Coach Rogers and I sat down to talk about something else one day, and he said he needed a president for the Booster Club. And I thought I remember saying no, but apparently I said yes. So here I am. But it's great to help support these kids. We've got a great community built up around us. The Pieper Warrior community has really stepped up. Stevens Roofing got us this amazing tunnel you see him putting up down there in the field right now. And every parent in and around this high school is all in on building these programs, not just football, but every program that we've got going on.
Well, of course, got volleyball going on right now.
And we have an amazing volleyball team. These girls, they're doing amazing. They're, one of them, Caroline Peterson, she's a state champion high jumper. And, you know, our entire athletic organization, they really encourage second and third sports for these athletes. This football team's got quite a few wrestlers, baseball players, and basketball players. And it keeps them training that what we call the Warrior Way, the championship way, all year long.
You know, I've just been so impressed in seeing this school and seeing this program. Is it looks like everything is being done right from the ground up. That there are no shortcuts. That a really solid foundation is being built here.
You're absolutely right. And we can thank Coach Rogers and his staff for that. He's an amazing athletic director, or coordinator, I'm sorry. But he has brought a culture to this school that is trained the championship way, the Warrior way, and based around family and faith. This guy has got all of these kids in every sport bought into this way of coaching and playing sports that he does, and it's really showing itself tonight.
That's true culturally, but it's also true from a football standpoint. He has some very strong convictions, some of which are a little unorthodox, but he believes in them so strongly without being arrogant about it at all.
Oh, he's one of the most humble men you will ever meet in your life, and you are right. Unorthodox or not, the way he does things, he gets buy-in, and clearly you can see it's paying off for this team tonight.
Okay, so you're not only a fan, but a Warrior parent. And you're looking at this, as am I, and I swear that scoreboard over there says 53-0. Are we sure that this is not a mirage?
I tell you what, you know, I think this entire stands after a 2-8 season last year. You know, it's great to see these kids fought. They were better than that record last year that they had. They have really battled, and they've been tested. And, you know, we like to talk in our household that they're not going to see any new tests this year because they've been through the ringer. And I really think that's showing off tonight. You know, we had a couple of bad series out there, and they shook them off and came out and scored a touchdown right after that.
Yeah, and really it's been all Warriors from the jump. I mean, starting with the opening kickoff, a 75-yard drive, plus a 2-point conversion to really get that going. And, you know, that doesn't look insurmountable from the opponent's standpoint, but you can tell that it really set the tone, and, man, did they take advantage after that with, you know, getting takeaway after takeaway after takeaway and turning that into defensive touchdowns. I mean, you know you got it going on when you got a passing game that's working the way this one is, and your defense is playing a really good rushing offense and just stuffing them.
Oh, they are. Yeah, we call them the guard, that defensive line. Those are some big kids down there, and they have really put it together. Coach Gardner has done a great job with them, getting them to build this wall. And you back that up with the linebackers. Heck, one of your linebackers took 5th in state last year, Caden Glass. I mean, these kids are tough, and it's really showing through.
Well, you're talking about that D-line. you know, when I first met Coach Rogers, I asked him, what do you consider the strength of your defense? And it took him about a tenth of a second to say our D-line. And I said, why? He said, because they're so quick, they're so aggressive, and we're really deep. And I'm looking at this depth chart here. You got a lot of guys that can play.
We do, and one of the good things to watch about that is you don't see much of a difference, a drop-off when those backups come in. I mean, they're right there. They are neck and neck with these kids.
Okay, so we got the home opener coming up next weekend, next Friday against. Now, tell me who that is again.
That next weekend is going to be number 7 in the state, I believe, isn't it? Wimberley, ranked up there. They're a pretty tough team.
They are a pretty tough team, but they're going to be facing a very tough team. And let's hope that we get a huge crowd at your beautiful stadium. I mean, the first time I saw that place, I thought it was the Taj Mahal. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great stadium, and I would love to pack this. I mean, you know, I think every viewer watching it tonight is seeing that this is a different team. This is something special that we've been working for 3 years. And you think it's great watching it on this beautiful broadcast. Come see it live next week.
J.J. Huntsman, this team has it going on. You got it going on. Thank you so much for joining us. I've enjoyed the visit and can't wait for the remainder of the season. We're going to take a short break. Back with the second half kickoff in just a moment, right here on the Warriors Sports Network.
Tonight's broadcast on Warriors Network is brought to you by Stevens Roofing and Remodeling, the Branch Neighborhood Grill, San Martin Orthodontics, and Stratton Sport and Spa.
Back at historic Bible Stadium in Leander. What an unexpected story this has been so far, and we're halfway through it with Pieper leading Glenn 53-0 and doing pretty much nothing wrong. Time for the second half kickoff. We're underway, and the Grizzlies will get the ball to start the second half. Pieper's had a little trouble tonight on kickoff coverage, but this time they do a pretty good job on the return man, who is probably Glenn's best player, DJ Duger. Pretty good convergence there. So we'll see if this Pieper defense can continue the stellar effort they put forth in the first half. And Joey Gonzalez, my partner, I mean, you pointed this out. This defense has been so physical. You know, you look at the score and you think 53-0 offensive explosion, and it has been, but so much of this has been facilitated by this defense, not only getting quick threes and outs, but also getting turnovers and turning them into touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, the Glenn offense, I mean, less than 50 yards of total offense in that first half. This is a team who continues to control the line of scrimmage, and you see right there, despite the flag, still only a 1-yard pickup.
Boy, they really fly to the football. You know, they emphasize getting everybody with a hat on the ball, and they have done just exactly that. Kind of looks like the LSU defense, doesn't it?
It does, especially that national champion LSU defense.
Yeah. That was quite the team 3 years ago, 15-0. And the walk-off is against Glenn. That's been an oft-repeated scene.
I was just going to say, the game started off with that fumble. Now it's starting off the second half with this penalty. It's just the mental errors have just completely eaten up Glenn from the time that it's at 12 minutes at the first quarter.
Guess what? They got problems on the exchange yet again. You know, this is such an intricate offense, but, you know, I saw a lot of video of them in their scrimmage last week, and they looked like a smooth, well-oiled machine at times, and now they come out in the season opener, and they've obviously been very jittery, and the fact that they got off to a bad start seemed to kind of compound the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's especially hard whenever you're playing from behind, and then you see such a great defense where you can't seem to move the ball again, and that's where those increased struggles on the handoffs.
Look at it. They got that defense packed in there. There's another scoop and score. Are you kidding me? I said in the first half that I didn't think I had ever seen anything like this. Now I'm sure I have never seen anything like this.
5th turnover of the ball game. Jackson Hopper scoop and score about 25 yards out, and he just jogs on into the end zone. He saw the green pasture, and it was calling his name.
5th turnover, and the 3rd score directly off the turnover.
We thought this game was going to be a tight one, coming in 60-0 if this PAT goes in right here.
I just can't imagine how this Glenn fan base must feel right now. They did not see this coming. PAT on its way, and good. So we'll take this chance to catch our breath for just a second with Pieper leading Glenn 60-0. Back with the kickoff in just a moment right here on the Warriors Sports Network.
Oh, man, here's a broken play. I don't think any of these guys are north to south runners. I mean, look at this one here. Just bounced outside with no blockers ahead of him. But you know, you can always call a Hail Mary, and the guy that you want as your QB is Dr. Ferris. I mean, you give Dr. Ferris the ball, and boom, good things happen. Yep, that's Ferris Orthodontics again with that really nice new smile.
Over again, and it's a once again. 60, I said 60-0.
So we talk about 5 turnovers. All 5 of those have been fumbles. It's not like they're throwing the ball, throwing interceptions. And 5 fumbles. What, 2 or 3 of them have been scoop and scores now at this point?
I think it's 3.
I think it is 3 as well. It's just this team capitalizing, this defense capitalizing on those minor errors at the line of scrimmage and taking them into the end zone themselves.
You know, and don't get me wrong, there has been some hard hitting going on out here by the Pieper defense. But to be honest about this, some of these turnovers have just been poor ball security on the part of the Grizzlies. This can't be real. This can't be real. They did it again.
6th turnover of the ball game. Second fumble in 2 minutes. And on that play, it just looked like a little bit of a miscommunication there. It looked like the running back and the quarterback just kind of collide on that play, and the ball just drops on the ground. And I think Pieper even kind of in shock as the ball's free on the ground. Let's pick it up. And just like that, inside of the 30-yard line.
Yeah, this is a real crisis of confidence right now for Glenn. I mean, they're now expecting to put the ball on the ground. That's just not going to work. What a tough night this has been for them. Running play coming far side. And on the carry, that's the junior Samuel Campos. Talking about this nightmare that's being endured by the Grizzlies right now. Think about the effect this must have and what must be going through the mind right now of head coach Brandon Krauskopf, because I'm pretty sure he's never gone through anything like this in his entire career.
Yeah, especially after last year, you were 5-5, a team that just barely missed out on the playoffs, and now you come into a start like this, and you just kind of, during this upcoming week, you got to find a little bit of those adjustments and just fine-tune the rushing game.
Running play again to keep that clock running. And once again, that's Campos on the carry.
Giving the junior a little bit more touches. We saw Brady Hopper get some touches on the ball. We've seen John Hamilton, excuse me. So third different hand on the ball here, and just get some guys some extra reps, especially with the score like this.
You know, we were talking about some of the, I don't want to say unorthodox things, because that sounds like it's, you know, rebellious or something like that. It's not like that at all. But Coach has installed so many things into this program. For one thing, their practices are 90 minutes long, and that's it. And they don't tackle to the ground. And they practice in the morning, and they get it done, and it's so well organized, and there's such a pace and a purpose at practice. Everything they do has a purpose. You know, you see some practices at some programs where that's not always the case. But he's always willing to take a look at new ideas and be objective about them. And like I said, he doesn't get evangelical about them, but he commits to those principles, and clearly he's got total buy-in from his players.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the 90 minutes, because, I mean, you'll see some coaches go out there and they're just running their players nonstop. And at least these guys, they go into practice, they know this is 90 minutes, so let me put my focus in this entire 90 minutes. And you could tell these guys have been focused as soon as that first whistle was blown.
No question. Strachan in at quarterback. He's also played really well as a receiver tonight. He's got some time. Now he pulls it back, throws it left side on the corner route. That's complete. That was a great throw and a tough physical catch. Let's see, can we? Oh, that wouldn't be that guy again, would it? It's kind of a tough angle for us right here.
I think it was Jaden LeGrand.
Jaden LeGrand, the junior.
But Paul, that was 4th and 14, and they just went for it like this game is 7-7.
Mm-hmm. And the protection was good, and look at the way Strachan kind of slid around in the pocket, bought a little time, and then found that open receiver. Strachan also got some wheels. Oh, this time they put it on the ground. There's a big pileup right at the goal line. This may result in the first turnover of the night. Wow, for the Warriors, and it does. So Strachan took a pretty big hit at about the 1-yard line, and the ball got out. And we do have a Grizzly player down right at the goal line.
Well, Strachan nearly made it 66-0, just got the ball punched out right at the goal line.
He did, and here's the thing, I'm not being critical at all, because I'm not going to be critical of high school players. But he's such a mature guy, and he probably wants that back a little bit, because the ball was out from his body a little bit as he was trying to get into the end zone.
Yeah, create that gap, and that's Glenn capitalized on it. Maybe that sparks a little bit of something for the offense. You've seen so many turnovers on your own side, and now Glenn forces a turnover. Maybe they find a way to get a little bit of offense right now. And I think at a point of like this in the ball game, you're just trying to get that confidence going into next week.
Yeah, we've got an injured Grizzly player coming to the near sideline. That was quite the collision right there at the goal line.
Paul, so you were talking about at halftime. This is a team who's coming out really hot, but they're hosting a top 10 team in the state next week against Wimberley. And I think it's just going to be a huge matchup to really show what this Pieper team is made of at home.
I plan to be there. That sounds like fun.
That sounds like a blast.
I'm making plans now, I promise. Running play. Inside, and that's Duger on the carry. And that was the guy that they had to stop tonight, and so far they have stopped him.
Yeah, Duger has not had any opportunities. I mean, the most effective we've seen him is on the kickoff returns, and he's shown that explosiveness in the open field. It's a guy who's tough to bring down.
He has caught the eye of a lot of college recruiters, and you can see why. He is big, he's physical, he's fast, he can turn the corner, he has excellent cutting ability. That actually right there, that play right there, Joey, was probably one of the better takeoffs by the Grizzly offensive line that we've seen all night long. And it results in not a big game, but it does get the first down. But they probably came off the ball harder that time than they have all night long.
Yeah, it was a real quick burst. Not a whole lot of movement in the backfield. You just push the ball forward, and right there, nice little 5-6 yard gain, picks up the first down.
Ball spotted just outside the 30-yard line. And there's that counter play coming back to the right. And this one is effective. That's a nice carry right there.
By number 5, Damon Wright, the senior, yeah. But back-to-back plays there where the running backs just fly right through that offensive line. And that is, it seems like that is the direction that this team needs to go to be successful in the rushing game.
Clock moving with 7:25 left here in quarter number 3. Not taking anything for granted, but it is 60-0, so this is going to be a pretty pleasant bus ride home, I would think.
Yeah, third year here for Pieper, and I mean, you could not have written a better start to the day. This team came firing out of the gates, already scored over 20 points in that first quarter, now up to 60. Nobody could have thought of that when this team was practicing over the summer.
This Pieper team is going to be a tough out for anybody because they're not really deficient in any area.
And I mean, this rushing defense is proving to not be an issue whatsoever.
Well, I'll say this. If you can stop this rushing attack, you can stop most rushing attacks because historically this team has been really good. Now, they've had just a horrendous night, but there is a lot of talent out there on that Grizzly offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is an offense where it's real easy to get lost with all the moving parts. We talked about that throughout the broadcast, and this team is showing that you could throw the kitchen sink at us, and it doesn't matter to us. We're going to shut you down.
And what impresses me so much about that defensive line, Joey, is you really can't move them. You watch the way they take on blocks. I mean, this is a good offensive line at Glenn, and they're getting no movement whatsoever. And look at this, a tackle for a loss back at the 40-yard line. That was a really nice play that was turned in by Ben Chapman.
Yeah, Ben Chapman, what a smack. I mean, he saw the running back on that play and met him head on, and 3-4 yard loss on that play. Ben Chapman delivering the boom on that play and forcing this Grizzlies team to punt.
They've done that a time or two tonight, haven't they? That's Jackson Hopper back to return the punt. It's away, pretty good kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 24-yard line.
Jackson Hopper, one of those guys that has a scoop and score in this ball game. The defenders having a chance to walk in the end zone tonight. And Jackson Hopper, along with this whole defense, has really been an eye candy to watch.
All right, so the clock stops on the change of possession with 5:12 left here in the third. And again, I keep saying this just because I feel like I have to pinch myself. It is 60-0.
I mean, this is something you see going towards district once you've kind of fine-tuned your tools, but not something that you see opening week. And it's a shutout on top of that.
They've been so sharp. Running play right up the gut. That's Mr. Hamilton, and that's a good run. That's a gain of 16.
Got to say, that's probably one of the best runs we've seen from this Warriors offense today. Beautiful hole opened up by that offensive line, and John Hamilton goes right down the heart, right up the middle, and picks up the first down on a 15-yard gain.
Line of scrimmage to 41. Inside 5 minutes left in the third. Two receivers to either side of the formation. That's Hamilton again. And a really nice surge by the Warriors offensive line. And that's going to net 6, almost 7 yards. Very physical.
These running backs have been really fun to watch. The yards after contact, I mean, they're getting hit at the line of scrimmage and keeping their feet moving 4 or 5 yards after contact. And ultimately, it sets up these second downs where second are really manageable.
There are some big, tough guys along this Warriors offensive line. Play clock at 4. Strachan gives it off, and that's Hamilton once again. You know, this Warriors offense is not always all about burning the clock. You know, they're about burning you. But right now, I don't think they're opposed to eating up a little clock time.
Yeah, I mean, and they're not running the ball bad either.
No.
I mean, they're moving the chains, moving the yards. But yeah, I mean, we talked about early in this ball game, they needed to get off to a hot start, and this is a team who was just flying down the field through the air, not the ground.
Nathan Martinez checks into the ball game at wide receiver. He's been solid tonight. And Hamilton getting a workout and making the most of it. And again, look at the takeoff, especially by the interior of that offensive line. I mean, they got some good players there, like Zach Clinton, Jonathan Hebert, Keegan Eilers, tackles like Colton Green and Braylon Sekoaleo. And I apologize for the mispronunciation. It is Sekoaleo. People will know his name, trust me.
Yeah, I mean, this offensive line has just opened up Hamilton's rushing abilities, especially here in the second half.
You know, this is a lot of carries right now for this guy who probably isn't used to having so many consecutive carries, but he's making the most of that opportunity.
Yeah, we talk about, especially during halftime, you had a chance to talk about the multi-sport athletes. And John Hamilton, 2-year letterman in wrestling and also a state qualifier as well at his time in high school.
They have such good all-round athletes in school, and that goes for male and female.
Mm-hmm.
Strachan. And that is a forward pass officially. That's not a running play. He threw it forward. It's a cool play because if anything happens and the ball hits the ground, it's just an incomplete pass, not a fumble.
Yeah, that was a play that right at the start it looked like a 1-yard pickup and just finding ways to continue to pick up yards. And I think that's what's going to be so dangerous about this Pieper team this year is their elusiveness, the way there's a guy in front of them and they're still able to get past their defenders and pick up those extra yards.
And they're so explosive, and you know it's part of their philosophy. They're trying to jump on you right away. They're really into dragster starts, and they really thought that was the best thing that could have happened tonight, and then it just happened to a miraculous degree, is they were just completely dominant.
If you were Pieper, is there any better way that you could have envisioned this season opener to start?
No. Now, the thing is, we're all human beings, and there's a tendency to go, man, we're up 60-0. You know, we must be King Kong. And they are good, and they're going to get better, but they have to also kind of put this whole thing in perspective. And when this is over in 1/4 and 47 seconds, yes, of course, celebrate it over the weekend, then turn the page and get ready for that huge game next week against Wimbledon.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put it behind you, especially with such a good team coming into town.
That's Samuel Campos in the ball game, and he shows some flash as well. But you know what? Also, nobody's getting hit at the line of scrimmage. I mean, first contact is coming about 6 yards deep in the secondary. What a performance by this Warriors offensive line.
And then not to mention that whenever they do get hit those 6 yards later, they're keeping their feet moving for an extra 2-3 yards, and that's how you're picking up those first downs on those 3 yards after contact.
Always moving forward. And in 2 seconds, we're going to move forward into the 4th quarter 12 minutes left here in Leander with the Pieper Warriors up 60-0. Back with the final stanza in just a moment here on the Warriors Sports Network.
Oh, man, here's a broken play. I don't think any of these guys are north to south runners. I mean, look at this one here. Just bounced outside with no blockers ahead of him. But you know, you can always call a Hail Mary, and the guy that you want as your QB is Dr. Ferris. I mean, you give Dr. Ferris the ball, and boom, good things happen. Yep, that's Ferris Orthodontics again with that really nice new smile.
So, where are we eating?
With GVTC's blazing fast fiber speeds,
3.5 stars, not a chance we try anything under 4.
you might feel like other things in life.
Underway in Leander for quarter number 4 with the Pieper Warriors up 60-0 and still hungry for more. Short gain on first down, second and officially 9 at officially the 19-yard line.
Keep your foot on the gas. I mean, you can't let off if you keep going. And that's exactly what this Pieper team is going. 6 more points before this game ends.
And they're doing this by being so physical. Strachan, play fake, throws over the middle on the slant. Incomplete, ball hit the ground. No, maybe not. They're saying that it was intercepted. The defender corralled it before it hit the turf. All right, and really that ball was thrown into traffic to a degree, and there was a pretty big collision and contest for the ball. And it appears that it was intercepted.
So
they've turned it over twice.
Yeah, second turnover of the ball game. But, I mean, they're inside their own 10-yard line, and especially with the way the defensive line's been playing, not the most terrible place, I guess you could say, to turn over the ball.
Quickly to the line of scrimmage. Running play left side, and look at this. Three Warriors defenders converge. And they play such good team defense. You know, their spacing is good. They read their keys well. They get off blocks well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, you just get that one body to slow down the running back, and then that's when everybody just comes on in. And, I mean, you got 3-4 guys, and then eventually a 5th defender came in to tackle the running back Pieper at the goal line on that play.
And I believe that's Prather again. And they're going to move the chains quickly.
Prather getting the first 2 touches to begin his drive here, moving the chain on just 2 plays and moving it over to the 19-yard line.
First and 10. Quick snap, counter coming right side. And again, that defense maintains outstanding leverage. They've always got the squeeze coming from the outside. They're not going to let that running back get outside, and then the inside-out pursuit is coming.
Yeah, I mean, everybody moves so well together. It's kind of like a flock of birds. Everybody moves together. It's not one guy does this and then I do this. It's everybody moves together and attacks that single guy with the ball.
It is indeed a well-coordinated defense. Gain of 2, second and 8. And I think everybody at this point, for a variety of reasons, not also including player safety is kind of pulling for the clock right now. Go, clock, go. Go, clock, go. Now with 9 minutes and 14 seconds remaining.
Special thanks to Cedar Park Regional Medical Center for supporting Leander ISD.
Looked like DeMarcus Davis with the rush there, and once again, it's that line, that defensive line attacking, forcing Davis to the outside and just forcing him out of bounds to end that play.
Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to select and announce the offensive and defensive players of the week for the Warriors. And the Players of the Week awards are brought to you by Brad Hopper with American Interiors, proud supporters of Pieper High School.
Paul, it's hard to pick a player of the week this week, especially with how well everybody played. I mean, if we could probably pick everybody on both the offense and the defense with just how well everybody has played together to make this win possible today.
Completely agree, and I'm glad you said that, because in a number of different ways, we could rightly select 4 or 5 guys on both sides of the ball, but we've been tasked with selecting 2, so I don't want anybody else to take offense, because there have been so many wonderful performances. But we'll do this here in just a second.
Yep.
With the Outstanding Player Award sponsored by American Interiors.
Paul, so I got to ask you. So you mentioned you got to find a way to put this game behind it. How do you, as a coach, how do you go into a week following a win like this? How do you go in and tell your team, all right, time to rip that page out when we start fresh this week?
There is a certain coaching philosophy and adage that the time to get on your players, if you're going to, is when you're winning. You know, you don't get on them when things are going poorly, because you could really destroy morale that way. The truth of the matter is, if you wanted to, if you thought this was a good idea, beating somebody 60-0 is exactly the time that maybe you can afford to be a little technically critical about things without people getting their feelings hurt. So and I'll just use this as an example. I will guarantee you that the kickoff coverage team is going to have some work to do next week. And again, they're very talented players. Nobody puts in more time and preparation on special teams than the Warriors do. But you have to find some flaws or you just stagnate. And you have to find some points of emphasis, and that will be one heading into that game against Wimberley next week.
Yeah, I mean, that game's going to be so much fun to watch. A team that was state semi-finalist, or state finalists, excuse me, just a year ago, where they got eliminated by Carthage in the state 5A championship. So you have your hands full coming in, and despite this victory, you have to be spotless going into next week.
Yeah, and also this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. You actually could really kind of harp on those 2 turnovers to start the second half, because it maybe was indicative of maybe losing focus just a little bit. And if you're not coaching hard, and if you're not really emphasizing details, you're not doing your job. And look at this. Anything that can possibly go wrong for Glenn is that snap goes through the back of the end zone, and that's a safety. And that makes it 62-0.
Yeah, high snap there, and it's just the mental mistakes are just completely eating up Glenn from the first kick. And right there we saw it again. That's mistake 7 of the day. 6 turnovers, and then can't count that as a turnover, but just a mistake and going into the back of the end zone.
All right, let me reverse the question you just asked me a moment ago. From the coaching staff standpoint of the Glen Grizzlies, how do you handle this? And how does head coach Brandon Krauskopf handle this? Because this is going to be kind of hard to erase from your memory banks here, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as you said, you cannot beat your players whenever you're down. I mean, the positive thing is you didn't score, or let me say you haven't scored yet. And if it ends up being a 62-0 final score, the positive is if you go into next week, you're still looking for your first score. You got to find the positive. You have to continue to believe if this is your mindset going forward, we're a rushing attack. If we're heavy rushing, you got to stay with your rushing, and you can't just completely tear up the playbook and reset because, I mean, you've been practicing 2-3 weeks in the summer leading up to this game, and you can't just throw away the playbook. You
can't do that because that is Grizzly football. I mean, that's the style they play, and they are committed to it. And they have the people to be very good at it. It was just a nightmare scenario tonight.
The same thing as a winning team. You just throw this week away, and you stick to your game plan, and next Friday is a new Friday.
So the Warriors not only get the 2 points, but after the safety, they get the ball as well, as if they need it, leading 62-0 with 8:39 left. You know, this was worth waiting for, and we had to wait for it because this game was delayed 30 minutes so that the temperature could get all the way down to 100 degrees before we started this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was when we got here, it was 105 degrees outside. It was windy, but it was still hot. And temperature dropped down to around 101, about 99, right when the game started. And that was a question that you and I asked each other. How would the weather affect this team entering today's game? And clearly, the heat was not an issue for this Warrior team.
That's for sure. They were the ones who generated all that heat.
And another thing we were thinking about, especially since this team, we talked about those 90-minute practices, real short, real compact. They only practice in the mornings, so how would coming out in the evening affect this team? And Warriors were not fazed by it whatsoever.
I would say they passed that test. You know, that's quite the scene out there at Pieper High School at 7 o'clock in the morning athletically. You got the football team out there, you got the cross-country team out there, you have other athletes training for other sports, and there's this real feeling of community energy and commitment, and it's really a unifying thing for the entire school.
Yeah, we talked about the facilities. The facilities are great. I mean, what a way to start off a high school day than practicing with the guys and the girls that you see every single day, and clearly everybody's bought into the guy right next to him.
I would say so. No, there is a real family feeling about all of these athletic programs there. And what a beautiful high school. I had the privilege of seeing all the fine facilities and all the amenities, etc., and it's just a wonderful place, and that is a beautiful stadium, and let's get a lot of people in that beautiful stadium a week from tonight.
Yeah, come out and support this team who just put on a clinic offensively and defensively, a top team in the state. I mean, it is going to be a great game next Friday, and make sure to come out and support this Warrior team.
You will like what you see. They are very entertaining.
And Paul, look at this. 4th down and 3. With the game already out of hand, 6:20 to go. And what are they going to do? They're going to go for it.
Yes, they are. 4th and a little less than a yard. Strachan gives it off tackle. And that's a first down for Samuel Campos.
Just continue to run time off the clock. Sure, that's what Coach Rogers is doing right there, and picking up the first down, 6:30 to go, and now you get the ball for 4 more plays.
Burn that clock, stay healthy, have a nice bus ride home.
There's going to be a lot of smiles on that Pieper bus going back.
There is a lot to smile about. First down from the 37. Running play coming back to the right side. That's Campos once again as we move inside 6 minutes. And Joey, I don't know about you, but I see no reason to prolong the suspense. Players of the Week are brought to you by Brad Hopper with American Interiors, proud supporters of Pieper High School. And again, this disclaimer, any number of players would have been worthy of this award tonight, but our offensive player of the game is quarterback Jake South, and outstanding linebacker Landon Aspall is the defensive player of the week. Just outstanding efforts.
As I said earlier, if we could give it to everybody, we would, but we got to pick two guys. Jake South, he looked so comfortable in that pocket today. Field general, he saw the field so well throughout the game. Looks very confident in the pocket. Should be fun to watch him as the season progresses. And then Landon Aspall, a guy who's a three-sport athlete, a guy who had a fumble recovery and then swallowing up the running game. Both those guys were tremendous to watch this week, and looking forward to seeing them next week against Wimberley.
Running play, and that's one of the few negative yardage running plays we've seen from the Warriors tonight, and that was Campos on the carry.
Enjoying seeing Campos getting a couple extra touches here. We talk about Hopper and Hamilton, but the game of football, you need as many guys to step up. You want to have as much depth as possible.
That's a good stable. Three good running backs in John Hamilton, Brady Hopper, and Samuel Campos.
Here it is, 4th and 10, and Coach Rogers is going for it again.
Strachan. And the ball is batted down, and it will go over on downs with 4:01 left in this blowout.
Didn't work out on that occasion, but I mean, a lot of the offense all night long. Really can't find too many flaws, but as you said, if we had to pick out one, it has to be the turnovers. But outside of that, the offense has just been great tonight.
You know, we've mentioned this gentleman a number of times, but our defensive player of the week, Landon Aspall, what a remarkable overall athlete. I know you referenced this earlier, Joey, but he's done so many things. Wonderful weight man in track, the discus and the shot, a wrestling champion, was all district as a utility player, as a football player I'm talking about last year. So he does so many things, excels in the classroom, just kind of everything that you want a Warrior to be as this program continues to build.
Yeah, I'm glad you talked about the student, because I mean, he's a great athlete, but I mean, you can't ask for any more than for him to be a great student as well, doing it both on the classroom and out on the field. It's got to be great as a coach to have somebody like that in your locker room.
You know, we mentioned the fact that this is the first year that this program at Pieper has had seniors. You know, so we were joking with Coach the other day, this is the last time in your career that you'll have 11 starters returning on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So they took some lumps, but, you know, it sharpened them. It made them tough. And those 33 seniors, you can tell that bond is there.
Yeah, I talked about pregame. These are guys that have been playing together for a long period of time. And yeah, I could imagine it is tough going, especially last year. You go into a game and you're thinking, everybody on that other line of the scrimmage, they're all older than us, and yet they pulled off the 2 wins last year, and they come into this year saying, okay, we're level with everybody else. We have 33 seniors, and we have guys that have experience playing varsity football.
And there is some true talent. I mean, you look at these guys athletically, and a lot of them are the absolute truth. Pass play to a wide open receiver and that is the night in a nutshell for the Grizzlies. Wide open receiver, ball dropped.
Titus Lofton wide open, and that's, Paul, as I said, that's the type of night that it has been. You just, on a typical night, that ball's going to be caught, and possibly it could have been a touchdown. There was not a Warrior within sight to provide any help on defense. But it's just one of those nights where the ball's just not bouncing your way, not able to catch it. And nights like this happen every once in a while. And if you're a Grizzly, you say, I'll take that to start the season, and we get that bad performance out of the way, and now we can look to the bright things.
So the first objective for the Grizzlies has to be, let's have a great practice Monday. It's got to start there.
And that's really all you can do. You can only think, all right, well, we're going to have a great practice. I mean, that's what you got to tell the team in the huddle. All right, not the game we wanted, but come prepared to work on Monday, and we're going to put in the work because we're going to turn things around. It's not like this is a district game, so it's not going to cost against you for getting a playoff push.
It's a long season.
I mean, a team who finished 5th just a year ago, they're right on the verge of making a playoff spot. So you have a team that's capable of doing it. And we talked about they lost so many seniors, so it's guys who are learning to play with each other for the first time this season.
So we're in the waning seconds of this one with 1:16 remaining. Total domination by the Warriors.
Couldn't have asked for a better season opener, and Warrior fans, you should be happy. This is a team who's going to be a lot of fun this upcoming fall.
Just getting started. Campos on the carry as we're inside a minute to play. And we want to thank all of you who have joined us tonight on the Warriors Sports Network. We are so excited about this endeavor. There is a real commitment to everything about Pieper High School, and we want that to be embodied and encapsulated in these broadcasts and telecasts and the live streaming that we do. And we thank you so much for joining us. And we feel a real sense of kinship with this program and a real sense of excitement because you can tell that something really special is being built here.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it any better. I mean, this is not only just the football, but the athletic department as a whole, building something really nice, and it's going to be fun to see what this team does not only this year, but in the next couple years to come.
Yeah. You project this program, and this is kind of an arbitrary figure, but you project this program, say 3 years down the road, that could be scary.
I mean, you opened your 3rd football season with a 62-0 victory. You can't ask for anything better.
Final play of this route coming right up, and we will beat a hasty goodbye. No need for a lengthy post-mortem here. What you see is what you get. Our final score, wowee, Pieper 62, Glenn nothing. What a pleasure it's been. Joey Gonzalez working with you. Just a lot of fun tonight, and thanks to everybody at Wick Productions. What a bunch of pros here, and thanks for letting us just come and play with you because it's a lot of fun. So 62-0 tonight. Remember, the Warriors will play their home opener a week from tonight at 7 o'clock, unless it gets hot and we have to kick it back to 7:30 as Pieper hosts Wimberley in a really attractive non-district game. Let's have a big turnout at Warrior Stadium, and don't forget, we'll have the streaming telecast of the game right here on the Warriors Sports Network. So again, for my partner Joey Gonzalez, I'm Paul Alexander bidding you good night from Leander.